And you're very welcome to the sports grounds here in Galway for what promises to be an absolutely fantastic day of rugby. It's the second of three finals today. It's the Senior A Cup final here in Connacht Rugby, and the pinnacle of the schools game here. My name is Breifne Earley. For the next hour and a bit or so, I'm going to be joined by Jonathan Harte. Jonathan, an exciting day today for two schools. Of course, it's Sligo Grammar and Marist to meet today in the final. Marist's first attempt here in a long time. Sligo going for three in a row.
Yeah, this is the third match of the trilogy this year. We've been lucky the second time, I thought. First, I think Marist weren't probably deep in their training mode. But this is going to be a very tight game, I'd say. Or a very tough game, anyway.
Absolutely. We'll talk about the teams in just a few moments. We'll take a look through some of the players, but just to go through those teams for the defending champions, of course, going for three in a row here, a double on the cards for Sligo Grammar after two leagues and one cup in the last two seasons already. It will be a fine achievement for them if they can complete that. Of course, Marist will have something to say about that over the next 70 minutes here today. We start with the Marist side up front. Leon Cassidy, Owen Naughton and Bobby Fox across the front row. Conor Sheehan and Luca Giles captains the side from the second row. Paddy Egan, Callum Kelly and Niall Talon complete the back row, and the forward pack at out half. It's Charlie O'Carroll, top scorer in the competition so far. Will he have a day with the boot today? He's going to kick us off in just a moment's time. James Clark at out half, Tom Burke on the wing, Conor Dowling on the other wing, Tom Sheehan and Thomas Cotton in the centre, and Danny Reid at full back. Across the front row for the Grammar School, it is Aaron Platt, Quentin Mouty, Jack Deegan, Matthew Ryan and Paddy Wright partner each other in the second row, while Dermot O'Connell, Dylan McGloat and Ambrose Bamber complete the pack. Garrett McGinty in at scrum half. He'll be partnered by Earl Norris. George Barlow and Dara Holmes on both wings. Conor Craven captains the side in the centre. His partner, of course, Jared Murtha. We've heard lots from both of those through the season so far. While Alex Harte, familiar to yourself, Jonathan, he's your son. We better get that bit of bias out early. But your thoughts so far as Charlie Carroll kicks us off here?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's actually dry. It's over the last 5-10 minutes. It's dried up here in Galway. Marist are playing from left to right. There seems to be just a slight breeze across the pitch. I don't think it's an advantage to either team.
Yeah, Danny Reid receives that kick back from the Grammar School, and now Marist approaching halfway. Charlie O'Carroll with the ball at his feet. He gets it out to his out half there, James Clark, and it's going to be Marist who get back, just not quite making the gain line there, but it's O'Carroll again, just inside his own half, looks both ways, has a nice option there, and Luca Giles goes short. Giles carries it into contact, and now we're inside the Grammar half. A nice kick through from Clark. It goes into the corner, but it's going to be the fullback, Alex Harte, who comes away with that. He's under pressure from two or three Marist, right in front of the Marist supporters, and as you can hear, the atmosphere here, we've had a lot of quiet games maybe in the Cup so far, but there's nothing quiet about today, Jonathan.
We thought we were going as far away as possible. It's still very loud, and it's great to see. It's great to see a Connacht Schools Cup final with a big attendance here today. Absolutely.
That's Jared Murtha getting closed down very quickly on his own 22 as the Grammar recycle and go again. A good push from them. They've got well outside their 22, about 30 yards out from goal. Strange kind of pass there, a bit unorthodox in the tackle from the out half Earl Norris, but it does end up on the Grammar side. It's going to be McGinty again. He finds, looks to be Dermot O'Connell, I think, there, and the ball comes back again to McGinty, who's been impressive so far, fairly reliable from the bottom of any breakdown in play. Earl Norris protects that ball, comes back to McGinty at the base of the ruck, and again hoovered up by Marist, who've been very, very quick in defence. We saw that in the semi-final against
Marist. Have started very aggressively. Their line speed has been very, very good, and have just blocked down a ball there.
And a fumble there from the Grammar out half Earl Norris, but Marist here will have bodies outside, and they've got numbers outside. It's going to be Conor Dowling. He almost gets in the corner, but great defence from the Grammar School. And again, we talked about the Marist defence from their semi-final. The Grammar were equally as impressive in their victory in the semi-final as well. It'll be a case of who can break down these two really, really tight defences today. And it's a great burst from the Marist. Can they get across? Held up by the Grammar, pushed back a yard shy of the line. Great work there, and it's going to be this Leon Cassidy looks to be there, held up again by the Grammar, and it's going to be O'Carroll. O'Carroll finds another body, can't get through that Grammar regard. O'Carroll goes again. They've got bodies out, couple of runs there. They've got space outside. Danny Reid in space, gets in, can't get it down. Ref Look, the Marist fans calling for it. Ref hasn't signalled yet. Looks to have been held up and knocked on. It's going to be a reprieve for the grammar school. I think they can count themselves fairly lucky there.
Yeah, a couple of fumbles there. They played advantage, and they've knocked it on themselves there. Grammar started maybe a little slow, a little tentative, but Marist have come out of the blocks. They're controlling this game for the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Great crowd here in the sports grounds, the Clan Terrace on the far side of the field. You can probably hear it here on our broadcast, but 3/4 full, I'd imagine, is probably fair to say. More Marist here than the grammar.
Yeah, it's surprising, but it's great to see. It's great to see.
So we are now a 5-metre scrum, defensive for the grammar. Earl Norris back on the dead ball line. He'll be looking to clear his lines here. McGinty with the put into the scrum, straight into the second row, but that's allowed these days. Back outside, they've gone a bit strange here. Conor Craven's in, but he's been taken down on his own and could be isolated here, but McGinty is in well. Gets it back to Norris. Norris with the boot through it, but it's sliced slightly off the side of his foot onto the
that's okay.
racetrack, and it'll be just inside the 22. I think he'll be happy to have made touch, but probably not with the distance.
Yeah, he was under pressure. The kicker, Earl, was under pressure. He's brought play 3 or 4 metres from the 22.
Oh, no, now with this put into the line out. The mullet hairstyle that we've all come so close to love over the recent years. There seems to be either the skin fade or the mullet, nothing in between.
Yeah, the parents never thank you for the mullet.
No, absolutely. There was 1 or 2 floating around our neck of the woods for a while, once upon a time, but here it is now, no nothing with the throw. And that's well done by the Marist and well caught, and now they've got an opportunity. They're pushing inside the 22. They're making good ground here, and the grammar need to do something to stop them, or it's going to be a try here for the Marist, the opening score of the game potentially, but it's held up and forced back by the grammar, about 7 yards shy of the line towards the middle of the pitch. And Charlie O'Carroll now with the opportunity to create something here. He goes outside to the first receiver, hits straight into a brick wall on the grammar side, but back again on the yellow and blue side for the Marist.
Yeah, the Marist pack were making great ground there, but they seemed to lose sight of where the ball was and drove on way past it.
I think they're holding the ball on the ground. The tackle player did not release the ball, and good defensive work by the grammar school there to get another reprieve. And we've seen it all from the Marist, but the grammar have been very, very solid in defence.
Yeah, look, they've relied on, because they haven't hit top gear all season, bar in the semi-final. But look, their defence has kept them in games and has led to victories all year. Yeah,
very early stages, of course. Yet just 5 minutes on the clock, and still scoreless here in the grammar school. It's been all in the grammar school, in the sports grounds. I'm showing my own bias here now. Of course, we better declare that we are 2 former Sligo Grammar School students, but we'll try and be as unbiased as possible for today's broadcast. Thanks so much for joining us here on Final Whistle. It's been our pleasure to bring you all the games in the Senior Cup in Connacht this year, as well as good coverage across Leinster and Munster and Ulster as well, but our main focus has been Connacht. And today we see the 2 best sides in Connacht based on the results so far this year, Marist and the Grammar School. Nothing to separate them just yet. 5 minutes on the clock. Scoreless here as one of the Grammar School players gets a bit of attention.
Is that Paddy Wright?
I can't quite make out the number on the jersey at the back, but it does look to be...
Or Earl, is it? It's Earl Norris, isn't it? It is.
I think it might be Earl Norris getting a bit of attention.
Yeah.
He's slightly more tanned than the rest of the lads. The sunbeds must be in good supply around the grammar school. But Earl Norris now, who picked himself up gingerly, and of course the grammar school already without their probably first choice out half, I think it's fair to say, Mark Timpany.
Yeah, and a shout out to Mark. Wish him well in his recovery. He had a major operation on his knee. He played through injury, played against Marist the last time and kicked him to glory in Athlone. Immediately after that he went for his operation that he was waiting on all year. We
do have a substitute in there. I think it might be Jacob Kilcoyne has joined the fray. I can't quite make out a number on his jersey either, but it looks to be maybe a blood sub on the far side, or at least a temporary substitution on the far side for the grammar school. And the physio just looking after the out half, Earl Norris there, and that will be an early change for the grammar that maybe they wouldn't have been expecting. Gareth McGinty looks to have moved out to out half, while Kilcoyne will come in at the scrum half position. But in the meantime, that penalty has been kicked to the sideline by Gareth McGinty, and it's a chance for the grammar school here. That's a good catch in the air by Matthew Ryan, exactly. And the grammar school now pushing on. They've reached the 10-metre line, just shy of it, as they try to recycle this and get it back. The Marist fans have seen something they're not happy with. They were calling for a decision from the referee, but none forthcoming. And the referee indicates it's a fair game and ball is out. And the Grammar School look to have kept possession, but it's been turned over. And now Marist with a flat pass there have got their man in trouble. It's been pushed back by the Grammar School players, and O'Carroll with a nice quick pass out to the blind side, and the ref has seen something he doesn't like, possibly an offside there. You might make out that gesture, but it's going to be a penalty for Athlone just inside the half, and this is within Charlie O'Carroll's range, but I can't see them kicking for posts quite early in the game.
I don't know. He's a fine kicker, Charlie O'Carroll. It's on the 10, just 2 or 3 metres from the 10-metre line. Yeah, he does look to be shaping towards the corner, and he kicks it down, and it's not going to go out of touch, and that's going to be, it's kept in, but it did go out. Jared Murtha did try and keep that in, but just couldn't quite. Remember Dara Holmes on the far side actually just couldn't quite stay off the ground in time to knock it back in, but yeah, he's actually given even more territory away there, but a good effort trying to keep it in. Yeah,
so now will be another opportunity for Owen Naughton. We saw a really good push from Marist last time. It's their line out this time, and Owen Naughton looking for that option again, and it's well caught, and quickly down to the man coming off the back of the line out, as O'Carroll now calls for it and looks for the opportunity here. Inside to the first receiver, comes back, looks to be Owen Naughton himself, and O'Carroll back inside to a teammate, but held up there fantastically by Amos.
Looks like he's coming back on Breifne. It was just a blood injury,
and the head well bandaged there, but Grammar School now still with a reserve on the field. Knocked forward there, and it's going to be, I think, Leon Cassidy who knocked that one, but it's come outside, and it's going to be Dara Holmes on this side has dropped it forward. So 2 knock-ons there. The first one, of course, by the Marist. It will be a put into the Grammar School. Still scoreless here as Earl Norris does indeed come back in, and it is Jacob Kilcoyne who makes way for him, the temporary substitution. Reversed, so we're back to the starting lineups.
Yeah, I think Grammar can be very happy or very lucky that that ball was knocked on by number 6, Paddy Egan, was it?
I thought it was Leon Cassidy, but it could have been any one of 2 or 3 players that had a huge amount of them coming through. But it is another chance for the Grammar School to maybe relieve some of the pressure they've been under for the opening 10 minutes of the game. McGinty with the ball in hand, just waiting for the scrum to set itself. As the Grammar School fans warm up there, big push from Marist, and it's going to be McGinty back to Norris with the headband. And he's gone for the far touchline, but he's not going to quite make that. Well caught on the far side by Tom Burke, but well covered up by 2 Grammar School players, and he does really, really well to get the ball back to his teammates in that situation. Way outnumbered there, but Grammar School, another great tackle. We're on halfway now, just for those of you that obviously aren't with us or listening and can't see the pictures that we have in front of us here. One Grammar School player on the ground, but a nice little kick across the top, and it's going to bounce very, very kindly for the Marist over the head of Alex Harte. Nothing he could do there to keep the ball in play, and it's going to be another line out, this time defensive for the Grammar School. They will have the throw, but it's going to be another pressure moment. The territory's been all...
Yeah, we haven't been out of our own half since the start of the game.
But it's been a good start for the Marist. They'll be happy. They do have a slight wind advantage, I think, in the first half, but it's very, very small.
Yeah, it's very, very... Look, the way they're playing, they've come out of the blocks, fighting, backs and forwards, intertwining there, great hands. You know, lucky for Sligo that they knocked on with the try line 10 metres away.
Yeah, there is a Marist player getting a bit of attention just outside the 22. The ball will be thrown in just inside the Sligo Grammar School 22. It's where we've spent most of the opening quarter hour or so, maybe a little bit less of the game, and maybe the last 12 minutes or so, as player just gets a bit of attention to his ankle. Can't quite make out who that is from the other side of the field.
But, Carroll, is it?
No, I don't think it's O'Carroll. No, he's standing up on the far side. He's in at the line out. But looks to be one of their forwards, actually. Number 4, potentially, Conor Sheehan, just getting a bit of a walking wounded. He's been good in the line out so far. He's back in the line out now, and he's won that ball, and it's come back down to him, but a loose pass, but they get away with it. Good work there from Earl Norris, and head bandage or no head bandage, he's going to be involved in the play. Charlie Carroll kicks into the corner. Is that going to bounce nicely for them? It is going to be straight into the hands of Alex Harte, who takes the first tackle, gets through it, and the second and the third. It takes the fourth man to bring him down, and a good work by his teammates to protect that ball back to Norris again. Norris goes long down the field, straight into the hands of James Clark. Good hands from him, and he crosses the halfway line back inside, but he slipped, and he's going to get absolutely smothered by the Grammar, but luckily he just gets away with the support, and it's going to be 14. That's Conor Dowling. Good work from him, but the ball seems to have gone forward into a Grammar hand, and it's going to be the Grammar who attack now. They're into the other half, and they've broken through, and that's a great run there in from George Barlow, and he's burst through a gap at midfield, and he runs 50 yards to touchdown under the posts. It's the first score of the game. It's taken 13 minutes to come, almost 14 minutes to come, and it is 5 points to 0 in terms of the scoreboard here in
Did that move start at the full back, taking a very dangerous ball?
You would say that, James Father.
Line,
yeah,
yes.
But it did, yeah, and a good work here in a very tight space from Alex Harte. Got the first 3 tackles, and then really good support work by the team around him. Particularly, I think it was Dara Holmes got in over him to protect that ball. And 2 or 3 phases later, and a really, really good break there from George Barlow, and it just ends up in the probably the easiest try he'll get once he made that break. He just really had an open field to run into.
George has had this is now his 3rd game in a row. Absolutely brilliant on the wing.
Yeah, really, really impressive performance from everybody, particularly George Barlow there at the very, very end. But a chance here for Earl Norris, walking wounded, of course, got the head bandaged up, but he is about 12 metres out, straight in front of the posts. This should be bread and butter for a kicker of his quality. Leon Cassidy getting ready for a sprint. Bit of a false starter too, but he's going to have a crack here, and he's gone. No block, unfortunately, for the Marist. And the Grammar School fans into raptures. There's 7 points to the good here with 15 minutes, just under 15 minutes on the clock.
And we have to say that was against the run of play.
Absolutely, fine performance so far. Marist have had all the territory, 90% I'd say of the possession in the opening exchanges.
We've been 5 seconds in their half and we scored.
But the Grammar School are lead now. They're looking for a football now to give to James Clark, who's going to take the kick this time. We've seen Charlie O'Carroll on most of the kicks from the Marist side, and maybe something a little bit different here. Can we see O'Carroll maybe involved in the chase? Is this something off the training ground? But it's going to be James Clark who kicks left-footed, and he's gone long. No chase required for this one. It's going to be Jared Murtha under it. He catches it well inside his own 22, and he kicks it, but it's blocked down, and it's going to turn out nicely, but possibly a knock forward before it went out on that instance. But the
linesman, it's a Grammar Sligo line out.
I personally thought it touched the Grammar hand on the way out, but I think they will.
He touched it outside, over the line, I think. Yeah.
That's possibly a decision. Luckily, from a Grammar School point of view, but it's going to be a put into the line out here, about halfway between the 22 and the 10-metre line inside the Grammar half. But Marist have been impressive from the line out so far.
I can't compliment Marist how they've started this game. I think they're unfortunate to be points down.
Paddy Wright there, fine catch in that line out, but it's Marist who've won the ball, and great piece of work there. Looks to be Bobby Fox on the far side has taken the ball into contact.
Yeah, that's the second time Grammar haven't protected that ball.
And there's a good little skip pass from the Marist that's creating an opportunity, but it's well marshalled by the Grammar School. And now James Clark gets the ball out, but the Grammar School have pushed them back to the 10-metre line. O'Carroll with the ball at his feet again, and he gets it out there to James Clark. James Clark intercepted, knocked on I think by somebody in there. Ref no hand up for advantage, so ref obviously happy for it to go ahead. He's telling the Marist lads to stay back, and that's a good piece of work there from looks to be Jim O'Connell, I think, normally with a headband. No headband today for O'Connell, but outside to Paddy Wright. Paddy with a little pass, and now we've got a bit of pace going for the Grammar School, but it's been knocked on. Ref again, no signal that was knocked down, but I think he's going to have a little word with his touch judge here on the far side, and we could see a decision made by the touch judge in this instance.
Was it a deliberate knock-on by Marist?
I think that's what they actually suggest there might be a deliberate knock-on by a Grammar School player, but they think they've called Owen Naughton in for a conversation as well. No, it's going to be a knock-on, just a simple knock-on, no intentional decision, and it's going to be put into the scrum. Hasn't quite seen it from the referee just yet which side have the advantage, but I have a feeling it could be a Marist put in.
No, Grammar put in. Just on the halfway line.
But it's an example of how it's been going so far. We've seen it all Marist, and now It is, of course, 7 points to no score here. 17 minutes on the clock. And the grammar school will be quite happy as the saxophone. We talked about this in the semi-final. It was my first time seeing a sax at a rugby game. But the...
I have to say, the Marist crowd are very impressive as well. Noise levels here are just brilliant.
It's very impressive.
Brilliant.
Considering we thought it might be too noisy the far side. It definitely would have been too noisy the far side. It's nearly too noisy this side. Looks to be actually the Marist who have the ball in hand.
First 15, 16, 17 minutes, you know, Marist can feel themselves unlucky to be down.
Yeah, the referee's having a little word here as one player gets a bit of attention in there. It looks to be Conor Sheehan again. He's been down already, and he'll be eager to return to action, and he is back in the second row for this scrum.
And surprisingly enough, Marist have got the push in the scrum, the first 2-3 scrums of this. It's the first time I've ever seen Sligo pack going.
It is a Sligo put into the scrum, and it will be McGinty. The ball comes out quick, well done by Charlie O'Carroll. It's an advantage to the Grammar, but it's Earl Norris puts it high. It's going to bounce. Can Danny Reid deal with this? He can, and well worked. Yeah. And then no advantage of Cruins. The ref is going to pull it back, and it's going to be a case of probably a scrum for the Grammar School inside their own half. I think they might have preferred to get the ball back in the position they did, as it turns out.
Yeah. It was coming to George. Oh no, they got a penalty offside.
He's given a penalty, so actually probably no. I'd take the penalty in that instance rather than the ball on my own 22. I'll take the penalty at halfway. Earl Norris with a chance now, put it inside the 22 for really only the second time in the half. So Charlie O'Carroll getting a bit of abuse here from the Grammar fans, but it's all good-natured. I think it's definitely a lot worse than our day, is all I can think of.
Earl has brought, that's a nice penalty kick there. He's brought play between the 10 and the 22. So good attacking platform for Sligo. Yeah,
Sligo Grammar about 30 metres shy of the line. They'll have the put in, of course, it being a penalty. And the
Marist have already taken one of their lineouts.
So Grammar School with an opportunity to build on this platform here. A lot of movement in the line-out, good work there, and it seems to be, I think...
Dylan McClough.
Yeah, Dylan McClough. And a great burst through, a great work there, and it's going to be probably hoovered up, and the ball has been coughed up by the Grammar School, but they've been given a penalty.
Penalty right in front of the
Grammar School probably very lucky to take that, but they'll take it all day long.
I think the Ambrose would have been under the post there. I think that was handling on the ground.
But Ambrose Bamber did get that hand or got that pass out of the tackle from a teammate. I think it might have been Dara Holmes who made that break, and Ambrose Bamber caught the ball, went on, surrounded by 5 or 6 Marist players, taken to ground, but got the penalty, so he'll take it all day long, and it's a chance for
Diarmuid O'Connell and Ambrose. I mean, two of the best guys you want in that position. I actually thought Ambrose was going to get over there.
But it is a penalty now, about 15 yards out from the goal, straight in front. A chance to put the score into double figures. 7 points to 0 at the moment with this penalty to come. And almost identical to the conversion about 5-6 minutes ago. 20 minutes on the clock here.
It's a very kickable penalty.
Absolutely. And Earl Norris with the opportunity now to make this more than a one-score game.
Breifne, I'd put money on you putting that over.
I'd put that over. There's not a whole pile of things I'm confident about, but I reckon that one is kickable by me. And if I apologise to Earl if I put him off with a commentator's curse, but another 10 yards I might be struggling, I'm not going to lie. Great finish from Earl Norris, and it is 10 points to no score here. 10-0 lead for the defending champions, and they make their way back to their own half as Marist now have to find the motivation to come back again. They've been very impressive in the opening 20 minutes though.
I have to say they have been the most impressive team of the two, but Grammar are clinical. When they get into scoring positions, they finish it off every time, and have done so all season.
Well, I don't even know if you can call it scoring positions. They got to halfway and just went, okay, we're going to score a try now, twice.
They've been in the opposition half twice, and they've scored twiise.
James Clark now with that restart. Very lucky.
Bobbled.
Very lucky catch there from the Grammar School, but they get away with it. Back to McGinty, and a strange situation there. Norris ends up with the ball in hand via a teammate, but that could have been a dodgy moment for the Grammar School. It's back again to one of the forwards there. Looks to be Aaron Platt, yeah. And ball comes back again to McGinty. It's just slow coming back to him. And the Marist doing really well just to kind of slow the play down and get themselves back in position. Norris now with the kick. It's high. He's not going to make touch, but it gives the full-back an opportunity. He lets it bounce, and he's going to get an extra 15-20 yards territory out of that. Does get it at the second attempt, but now he's been absolutely smothered by three Grammar players.
Sligo players, yes.
And Marist now going to have to work to keep possession of this ball. They have managed to recycle it, and that's great work by them considering just that lucky bounce that the Grammar got, and that's a good piece of work by Marist. They've pushed it on almost to the 10-metre line. They're back inside the Grammar half now with a kick, and it's going to be Alex Harte comes forward, catches that well into traffic. Good tackle from the Marist. Takes Harte down, but it's going to be a good piece of skill there from McGinty. He just elects to go into contact himself.
Yeah, Grammar back row just landed in time to secure that ball from Alex.
Norris with a nice pass out there to Murta. Murta inside, cuts inside, past the first tackle. Tries to go through to another, but it's knock on, and just a tackle there in the... McGinty just couldn't hold on to it. It's going to be, I would have thought an advantage to the Marist, but no.
Yeah, they still have. You'd probably call it back. They haven't gained anything there.
Still the ball at hand. Charlie O'Carroll now with the ball in hand, and the ref has decided there was no advantage. He's going to bring it back for the knock on. And
that was unfortunate. Jared Murta all season.
He paid it into Garrett McGinty, who probably wasn't expecting it straight to him, and it just bobbled out of McGinty's reach. And
yeah, he needed a soft pass.
But it is what it is here. 10-0, and the Grammar fans with a bit of a Nino chant there, and there's another player down getting injured, or getting support from the looks to be Luca Giles potentially.
Yeah,
the captain of the
that stemmed
side.
from Matthew Ryan throwing a ball back there. I hope he doesn't do that again. That was a dangerous. Matthew's a big guy. Take it in, secure the ball, and then let Dara and Earl bring it into safety.
I think that might be Paddy Egan that's getting a bit of attention on the far side there. It's very hard to read the white numbers on the yellow jerseys of the Marist.
Possible, yeah.
There's a nice contrast on the other side, navy and white. You can't really miss it, but the Marist ones, just some of the numbers quite difficult to read from a distance, particularly the single-digit forwards. But Leon Cassidy on the mark for the scrum. He's an energetic young fellow. We had him on an interview after the semi-final, and we picked him because he literally, when they won, he was so happy. I've seen people celebrate before, but I've never seen a 17-year-old boy prop forward, cartwheel the entire length of a half of a football pitch to celebrate a win. And it was just, he has energy to burn, and after industrious 70 minutes to be able to do that was impressive. He's one of those characters I'd imagine in a dressing room. Would you have been that way inclined yourself? How's your cartwheeling ability? Mine, not so much.
I would have a very stiff one.
A great kick there down from Danny Reid, and the ball lands on the top of Alex Harte, and he kicks it down. A nice opportunity for 50-22, but it's well cut out there on the far side by Tom Burke. And Tom Burke kind of slices that, but it's going to bounce in front of Alex Harte. Manages to keep it in. It's good work by Harte to keep it in on the far side. Goes through a couple of bodies, but gets hoovered up by the opposition, just not shy of the halfway line. Good burrow there, and it's good work in there from Diarmuid O'Connell.
Grammar seem to have settled down now, and they seem to be dictating the pace of this game.
Slight suspicion of a forward pass there from Norris, but ref happy to let play go, and it's going to work back here for the Grammar inside the half, offside there obviously by the great hands by Jared Murta, and it's going to be opportunity for Dara Holmes. He takes two Marist players out of there, including Charlie O'Carroll. As the ball comes back, and a well work there from Holmes, a good strength from him. Norris again. Norris inside to Aaron Platt. He takes some power to take him down. He's a big man, Aaron Platt, for the Grammar School.
Yeah, I think Aaron had one game. He was very tired after international.
Jared Murta's found a gap here, and he sold the dummy to his opposite number, but unfortunately just
holding on.
Didn't release the ball, and it's going to be a penalty on their own 22 to the Marist. They'll be happy now to have got away with their own good defensive work there.
Yeah, they've been under the cosh now for a few minutes. It's the tables have been turned on them.
It's 10-0 here, of course. 26 minutes on the clock in the sports grounds in the Senior A Cup, in the Connacht Senior A Cup final, and it's all Grammar School on the scoreboard, but it has very much been a Marist even-Steven performance. The Marist won the first 15 minutes. The Grammar probably been the dominant side of the last 10. but it's been a nice ebb and flow to it. It's been a really good contest.
Yeah, look, it's been an excellent game. Great hands from both sides. The pitch has to be damp, but that was a fine relieving kick by Charlie O'Carroll. Brings play to the 10-metre line from his own 22.
Yeah, good work from O'Carroll, and it's going to be Owen Naughton here with the put into this line out. Both crowds, the Marist and the Grammar School here in fine voice. It's been a really, really entertaining game, and it's been a really good atmosphere as well. But Naughton now 10 metres inside the Grammar half, can they create something? We've seen really strong efforts at set pieces from the Marist. That's good work from them again. That's great work. Fumble by O'Carroll at scrum half, and a referee hand out straight away, and it's going to be a line out.
I have to say their set piece has been excellent today. That was an unfortunate knock on by the scrum half, but that was another impressive line out.
Absolutely. It's 27 minutes on the clock. I make it maybe just a slight over that, and we're going to see a scrum here just shy of halfway with the Grammar School with the put-in. Both teams, as they started, we did have a blood substitution briefly for the out half for the Grammar School. Earl Norris briefly replaced. He's back now wearing the committed bandage, the white wrap around the head, Rambo style. Will he have to resort to any of the Rambo's tactics later in the game?
I knew Earl's father, and I knew his uncles. They were the toughest guys I ever played with. So Earl himself is a tough young man.
Well, he's back on the field here today, and of course already 5 points to his name. The try, of course, coming from George Barlow. A great break from him from halfway, straight through a gap in the defence and straight under the post, and that's a poor pass on the Grammar side, but it's going to end up in the hands of the centre.
Connor Craven, well taken,
captain,
Connor.
But he's run into traffic and he's been brought to ground, and it's going to be an effort now for the Grammar School to get that ball back, and good work by McGinty at half, but they're getting hoovered up. Great kick through from Murta, but it's going to come straight to the hands of Danny Reid on the far side. Reid now with an opportunity, kicks for a touch, but is it going to go out on the full? No, it's not. Bounced just inch perfect. It's a lovely kick from the Marist.
Fine kick, full back. Marist full back, yes.
Danny Reid there, just maybe not a natural kicker of the ball. It kind of sliced off his foot, but it just bounced perfectly on the sideline.
It worked.
You'll take every little bit of advantage you can on a day like this. It could come down to those little lucky breaks as well.
Grammar of defensive line out now between the 10 and the 22 metre line on our side of the pitch here.
Yeah, of course, we are on the far side of we're on the Greyhound side of the stadium. All the supporters on the far side.
The soft-spoken commentators.
Well, we needed to move away from the noise because it's just deafening here, and we're 100 metres away from them as the Grammar School tried to get out of their half, just pushing up to the 10 metre line, and the referee just indicating the ball is loose. The Grammar School have done enough to secure it, but I think that's a great piece of work by the Marist to dive in on that and recover it, and it's going to be the Marist now to try and create something, and they've got an attacking position here inside the 10 metre line.
Yeah, that was loose play by the Grammar. They gave it away. They should have secured that ball on the ground.
We have seen that in the earlier games from the Marist, as the Marist have now made a mistake and they've held onto the ball, and it's going to be a Grammar School penalty. But we've seen that from the Grammar School. We've done all the Grammar School games together, Jonathan, and we've seen maybe a little bit of overconfidence sometimes with the Grammar School. They come into these games almost expecting to win it, and we see them make sometimes little rookie mistakes.
Yeah, but I noticed in the last, I would have been critical of the backline play. I knew there was more in them, but in this last 2 or 3 games they've really moved the ball well. I think they're trying more things, Breifne. So if you try more things will go wrong, but the backline have soft hands today have been excellent.
Yeah, and it's going to be that penalty kick to touch by Norris, and it's going to be an opportunity for Quentin Modi to get the ball in here from this line out on the 10 metre line. And good work there into the hands of
well taken by Dylan McLeod.
Yeah, and ball pushed forward now, but 10 metres made there for the Grammar School, and it's going to be back to McGinty. McGinty trying to create something here. It's a little bit slow in the build-up recently for both sides, just taking that little bit extra time, maybe when that gap might be there. McGinty now finds a gap.
And the game started off really, really fast. It has just slowed down, I think both sides are feeling themselves out here.
Yeah, hand and error there on the side of the Grammar School, and it's going to be a put-in for the challengers, we'll say, as we get closer and closer to the halfway, about 4 minutes of regulation, so there might be maybe a few more minutes. We've had a couple of stoppages for attention. Physios have been on and off a couple of times. So wouldn't be surprised if there's another maybe 7 or 8 minutes to play in this.
Yeah.
Referee just getting the...
That's been an excellent final, Breifne. Sometimes the finals can be dour and nervous, but it's actually been quite good. Both sides have handled very, very well. Marist have actually looked the more impressive of the two sides.
I'd agree with that. It's 10-0, but I think if you came in here and heard the score and watched the game without the tries, I think you think Marist were going to be the team that were 10-0 up. Yeah. But it is indeed the defending champions, the Grammar School, who are lead. Good piece of work there by Marist, and they've broken through, and good hands there into the hands of Leon Cassidy. Cassidy goes around, just can't quite control it, and that's a bit of a wild pass from Cassidy. Conor Dowling couldn't quite control it. It came at him just a little bit too quick. It's going to be a line out for...
basically on the halfway line, Breifne.
The ref has seen something, maybe a knock on, because of the touch from Dowling.
Yeah.
It's going to be a knock on, and it's going to be...
scrum close to the halfway line.
A Grammar put into the scrum just inside their own half.
I think there's a change there at hooker, is there?
No, it seems to be the same team that started the game. McGinty now with the ball in hand. The referee setting the tone as Niall Talon just joins himself to the back of the pack. He's up out already. McGinty now back to Norris. Norris going to put the boot to the ball. It's gone high. Can they chase this? We've seen really good results from the Grammar School.
He's let it bounce.
He has let it bounce, but it's bounced favourably into the hands of Callum Kelly. He's back to Danny Reid. Danny Reid kicks it right down the middle. It's going to be to Earl Norris. Norris has Alex Harte with him. Goes into Harte on the far side. Harte with an opportunity. Just kick it, but it's going to break, and it's going to end up back in the hands of Earl Norris. And he's done really well to recover that, because the kick from Harte just did get blocked down by the Marist. So it's back in the hands of the Grammar School, and the little bit of momentum they had built up just ebbed away a little bit, but they still have possession. McGinty looking for that ball to come back.
Yeah, they were lucky to get away with that. Great block down by one of the centres, I think.
I think so. I didn't quite make out which one of them it was. Possibly Tom Sheehan, I think. Or Norris now, ball in hand. Again, really quick speed out of the line from Callum Kelly. And that's gone straight through the hands of James Clark. But he does get to recover. But, that's an unfortunate mistake on the Grammar School side. He's knocked it down. Ref has indeed gone and given the knock on, and it's going to be a put in to the scrum. And that's a bit of a mistake from the back three. I'm not quite sure who it was on the far side.
Knocked that backwards, but the ref didn't see it that way.
I'm pretty sure that was the dad coloured glasses on that one. He definitely knocked it forward, but it's going to be put into the Marist here, and maybe an opportunity just as we approach 35 minutes of playing time for the Marist, maybe to get a score here, just to settle the nerves, give themselves something in the second half to hold on to. I suppose from the Grammar School point of view, they'll be looking maybe to keep that shutout intact for the next few minutes.
Oh, definitely, but I think the Marist crowd sense that there might be something on here. This is a good attacking platform. They're between the 10 and the 22.
Yeah, about 50 metres out from 30 metres out, should I say, from the Grammar School line. A very wide position taken here. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a nice kick out here. That's a poor pass.
Poor pass, unfortunately.
But good hands by the centre coming into the line, and great work there was indeed. Actually, Tom Burke on the wing just came into the line and caught that well at his ankles. Good work by the Marist to get themselves back, but unfortunately Tom Burke hasn't got up. He's still just lying on the ground, and the ref has called it back, and it's going to be just so that the physio can have an opportunity to have a look at the player. He looks to be a little bit under the weather on that one.
He seems dazed there, yes.
The physio very quick to get that position around his head and just make sure he's okay. He looks to be engaging and moving, so no major concerns on that side of things. But
that doesn't look good, I'd say.
It's always bad when the player doesn't get up or doesn't appear to get up immediately. But we will, both teams just get into their huddles, just having a little chat. As the 2 or 3 Marist coaches just have a word. I think it's Tom Burke who's down. He had just made a really, really impressive thing, and it could be just the way he fell in the tackle. I think possibly he may have got him, but he is moving. The head is up, the arms are up, the body is up, and he's just going to be brought back to his to a sitting position. So he's the major concerns, I suppose.
No, he's nodding his head. I think he's going to continue.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you see players, and we had a situation of the game at the weekend in Leitrim, where a player in the last move of the match got involved in a bit of a tussle and ended up being stretched off in a wheelchair and an ambulance, and you hate to see that. And so when you see that, and then a couple of days later you see something similar, the worst thoughts go through your head. But he's up on his feet.
Yeah, he's up.
A bit of a jog, bit of a jump.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
A little bit of winded, a little bit of a shock maybe in the tackle, but he's okay. They're just doing a few checks and balances with him.
Yeah, I don't know how the ref is going to start a scrum to the grammar, I presume.
We'll find out in a second, but Tom Burke up on his feet, and he looks to be more than happy. Yeah, great to see that. And at the end of the day, it's an amateur sport, and these lads have to go to school tomorrow, you know. So they've got bigger fish to fry than, well, so they might not tell you it's a bigger fish to fry than the cup final, but in the grand scheme of things, more important things coming down the road in the next few months as they prepare for exams and all of the things they bring.
Yeah, both teams have settled nicely now. I know they're coming near to the end of half. I suppose there was early nerves, but they're both moving the ball through the hands nicely.
Referee's having a chat with one of the Marist mentors on the far side, and I think he might even be making a suggestion that maybe the substitution needs to happen. But I think Marist are quite happy for him to continue. I think Marist are quite happy for him to continue. He has played in most of the games so far, and he's been a key part of that path to the final for Marist. Mick Loftus, of course, on the far side, a veteran in this competition. Robbie Henshaw was in the team the last time Marist won this competition. That's a good piece of skill there. Oh, great work from Marist. They've got a man over on the outside here. It's into number 14, Conor Dowling. He's gone round, he's in the corner. He's got in, and the Marist fans have hit the roof on the clan shed, and they are absolutely delighted.
I have to say, nothing more than deserved.
They have absolutely deserved that. It's a very challenging kick for a right-footed kicker. Charlie O'Carroll, top scorer in the competition so far, has the ball in hand. He'll be about 7 or 8 yards in from the sideline. We have seen him score these kind of kicks in the cup so
Alex
far.
will be disappointed he didn't get number 15 there.
But a great try for them. Number 14, it was Conor Dowling, got across in the corner almost. He did get a couple of yards into the end, the dead zone when he did get around the full back, but it's a great score for them. It's probably well deserved on the balance of play.
Yeah, in fairness, you can't say they didn't deserve that.
We're approaching the 40th minute in this half, as of course the clock stops. We're not privy to that, but 49 minutes I make it on the clock. 39 minutes I make on the clock, as a hush descends around the sports grounds here. We'll just pause for a second as Charlie O'Carroll hits this kick. And the grammar school off the line as O'Carroll kicks, and that's a lovely little kick, and it's gone right between the posts. A fine kick from a fine kicker, and O'Carroll has kicked them into the half-time, and it will be a half-time lead here for the grammar school. 10 points to 5, 40 minutes on the clock, but it's been a really impressive performance here from both sides. A fine 35 minutes of football. We're probably going to expect the same in about 5 or 10 minutes time.
Grammar will go in disappointed, losing points in the very last kick of the game, last play of the game. But to be fair, Marist deserve points this half.
Absolutely, and that is the score here in the sports grounds. It's 10 points to 7. The scoreboard hasn't quite caught up with us yet, but it is 10 points to 7 here in the sports grounds. We'll be back with you in about 10 minutes for the second half of the game here on FinalWhistle.ie. Myself and Jonathan Harte will be back with you when play resumes here in just over 10 minutes. And you're very welcome back here to the sports grounds for another 35 minutes of cracking rugby. It's 10-7 to the defending champions, Sligo Grammar School, here in the Connacht Senior Schools Cup A final. And Earl Norris gets proceedings underway. It's 18 minutes past 2, and the game likely to go to round about the 3 o'clock mark here in Galway. But a good kick there from James Clark, and it's going to come right down here on the head of Earl Norris. Blood beginning to come through that bandage. We saw him go off for a little blood sub earlier in the game. A bandage coming a bit loose, bit of red marks on it, as well as the Grammar burst right through that Marist defence. But it takes 7 or 8 of them to pull them down at the end, and they do exactly that. And the ball coming back. McGinty now in possession, inside to the number 4. That's Matthew Ryan. Great work there. Norris outside him now to Craven. Craven, the captain, cuts back inside, gets through 2 or 3 players before the third one takes them down. And good work there, but it's going to be McGinty plays it back inside to O'Connell. O'Connell playing today without a scrum cap. We've seen him wearing that scrum cap all year.
It's very deceptive.
I nearly don't recognise him without it. He must have had a haircut this week, that's what's wrong with him. But Marist have turned that over, and it's going to be the Marist who break, and good work there.
That's the third, fourth turnover now the Grammar have lost. They're not securing the ball on the ground, and they're going to have to.
That's a good crash ball there from Marist, but doesn't really lead to much, and in fact it's given away a penalty. Is ref not happy with something he saw? I think he's maybe not happy with the direction and velocity of the attack there on that one, but it's going to be a penalty for Grammar School, and it's maybe kickable, just outside the 22, and the ref hasn't indicated.
Norris going to go for it.
Yeah, so Norris now in possession. I don't see any changes coming in just yet for either side, but we will keep you up to speed as well if we do spot a couple of changes on the far side for either team. But there actually is a change on the Grammar side. 17, Max Hunter is in. Hunter is, of course, part of that team that won this last year. Has been struggling with injuries this year a little bit, but was back for the semi-final.
Even if he only has one shoulder, he's a terrific player. Terrific player.
Yeah, I think we might also see a change. We can't quite work out who he is replaced at the moment. The front row still all there. 4 is there. 6 and 7 also there.
Paddy Wright, is it Paddy?
Looks to be Paddy Wright.
Yeah, Paddy was sick during the week, and I'd say one half was enough for his body. I think he was very, very sick either. And a great kick by Earl Norris.
Yeah, good work by Earl Norris.
Super kick.
It is Paddy Wright who makes way for him, as you said. One injured player replaces another to some extent, but Max Hunter now on the field, and a key player for the Grammar School in last year's win. Will he play a pivotal role in this year's win? They lead by 6 points here. 13 plays 7.
I think just Max's presence seems to settle the pack down.
Yeah, and the ball now in the hands of the out half, James Clark. He sends it down into the corner, but it's going to be Jared Murtha. Murtha now faced by a whole string of yellow and blue shirts. Runs straight into Leon Cassidy, bounces off him, does manage to hold on to the ball and get the ball back to McGinty. McGinty into Diarmuid O'Connell. O'Connell just pulls right through 2 players, as the Marist have done really, really well to get their hands on that ball, but they can't quite recover. Norris gets it away despite the dive of Charlie O'Connell, Carroll even, and good work there by Tom Burke. He took a bit of a knock in the second half. He's back out for this half and seems to be at the pace of the game as O'Carroll gets back from his attacking position. Forward pass and a knock on there from Owen Norton. The ref has seen it and has called it back, and so despite the ball being in the hands of Alex Harte, it's going to be a scrum to the Grammar School just inside their own half at midfield. They'll be quite happy just to kind of have those 3 points on the board, have possession back, and maybe go again from here.
Yeah, like it was a big kick in the teeth to them to lose the score at the very last play of the game and the very last kick of the game. But it's nothing more than Marist deserve. But let's Sligo, if they settle down early maybe, and they'll be looking to increase that lead. They're still just under a 1 score game between. It's number 2's lying on number 2, Owen Yocton, is it? Owen
Yocton, yeah, he was the player who made that knock on earlier in the game. But just taking a bit of attention here from the physio, Susie Berzawa has been with the side all season. A rugby player herself, fine rugby player herself. She's a physio for the Marist. But just giving Owen Naughton a rub just in the calf, it appears to be where he has a bit of bother. The lower ankle.
He's still down. Look, this is the first scrum of the second half, I think, isn't it? So we'll just see the changes there. See how it changed the pack, the Sligo pack. They were fairly dominant in the first half. Oh, he's up. He looks okay.
It's an interesting, like we're talking about 16, 17-year-old boys here, right? And for half-time entertainment, I'm not sure if you asked me to pick what they'd be listening to, I'd have said maybe Lizzo or maybe a bit of Drake or something else, maybe a bit more modern. But cool jazz on the saxophone and Stop the World and Let Me Off by Declan and Earley weren't exactly top of the playlist that I would have imagined coming in here today. Mind you, we did get notice of them both in the semi-finals.
The cultured fans of Sligo.
They're keeping it local anyway, although maybe not so much with the Jazz, but it is what it is.
That's a good scrum by Sligo.
Good kick by McGinty, and that could be a 52. He doesn't have quite the legs
it
to
just
get
seemed to die there, yeah.
Unfortunate. The AstroTurf just killing it there, but good work by Norris. He had a little kick there, and that's an unfortunate knock on by Harte. And that is a ball given back to Marist. A little bit of a afters there between, I think it's Clark, maybe Tom Burke and Bambury, just goaded him a little bit, but I suppose you get that at this level.
I think they were just welcoming each other to sports grounds. Breifne.
I think he was just looking for him to flinch, put the ball in his face and see if he flinches, and he kind of did, to be fair. So it's 1-0 to Tom Burke on that instance, but will it finish that way today? Scoreline as it stands, 13-7 to the defending champions, possibly against the run of play somewhat, but Marist on halfway with possession. Great push by the grammar school, and it's going to be Talon who picks, but it is going to be taken back, and the ref going to have a reset. Again, we're about a metre inside the Athlone half, and Marist looking now to maybe counter that big push from the grammar school. And is that the impact that we're seeing from the introduction of Max Hunter?
Yeah, Max seems to settle the pack down. He always does. He brings out the best out of the other 7 guys in that pack. He probably demands it.
Absolutely.
He is the spiritual leader when he comes on.
And a good scrum there from Marist, much better than the last time. And Charlie O'Carroll taken down, but he gets the kick away, and it's a good work. This time, no mistake from Harte. Ball comes down the far side, and he's kicked that exceptionally well. And it is a beautiful kick.
Oh, beautiful kick.
But it's gone quickly, and the ref probably not happy with that. I think he was in play when the ball was played, so it will be called back. It'll be a put in to the Marist.
Yeah, that brought play inside his own 22, back to their 10-metre line.
Marist did try a quick one there, but just a pull back by the touch judge. I think Charlie O'Carroll had just stepped onto the field of play, and of course not allowed when you're taking those short throws, or the quick throws. And the grammar school fans probably outnumbered 2-1 here, but no volume necessary. You can hear them from the other side of the field, and that's a good work by Marist. Suspicion of a curved ball maybe, but indeed it is. Bad eyes from the other side of the field. The referee agrees with me. He had a much better view of it from there, but it's going to be a put into the scrum for the grammar school here, and they've had a good bit of power in the second half over the Marist. Just 2 packs walking away from each other. Dara Holmes coming in for a conversation with Earl Norris. The headband gone from Norris. Obviously fairly confident that the blood is not going to be returning. Has a little chat with Jordan Murta. Bit of a conflab there. Conor Craven. Oh no, in fact it's not Conor Craven, it's Max Hunter also giving his tuppence worth. But Norris must be just surveying the crowd to see what he thinks. What move should we play next? Craven coming back.
There's a pre-planned move maybe coming up here. That scrum should be fairly secure. So we'll just see. They're playing from their own half here.
So scrum just inside their opposition 10-metre line as the grammar school get it back. McGinty into Craven into Murta, finds a gap, finds another gap, but he's hoovered up by the last group of players.
And he still goes.
And he's still going, and he's broken
and
through
he still
again.
Goes.
He's into the 22 now, almost just caught just shy of it. And McGinty now with an opportunity to go. Good work there. Couldn't quite make out who it is. Green headband, whoever that is.
Ryan.
And that's another piece of work there. Good offload in the tackle to Murta. Murta finds a player outside him, and they've been forced into touch. That's fantastic defensive work by the Marist. They trail here by 6 points. It's 13 points to the grammar school, 7 to the Marist. It's less than a 1-score game.
Yeah. Grammar will try like to increase that lead. You don't want to have 1-score game coming into the last quarter.
Absolutely not, and that's exactly where we find ourselves now.
The ref is given a penalty again in front in a very kickable position again.
It's exactly where we saw Earl Norris kick for him in the early exchanges in this half, and he looks to be repeating the feat here as he indicates he wants to kick at goal.
Yeah, it's probably the right decision. Bring play up to 2-score game.
A few players coach just coming in with a bit of instruction for his back line.
You know, and Earl has been impressive all year from the tee. It's a similar position to his second kick.
And we're seeing a bit of noise coming in now, but there had been a nice kind of a mutual respect for the kickers, and I think now the competitive nature is coming into it, and the Marist fans definitely giving a bit of volume now. I think a player of Earl's experience with one senior cup already in his back pocket, I think he'll relish that though.
Let's hope so.
Just outside the 22, just about 15 yards in from the sideline on the far side of the field, right in front of the Marist supporters, and he will hopefully, and they have, he has put it across, and the touch judges' flags go up, and it is a fantastic kickable score from him. And that is now
16 to Sligo, 7 to Marist.
It's a 9-point game, but more importantly, from a grammar school point of view, it's a 2-score match we have here.
Hopefully that will settle Sligo's nerves, and they can play more of their running rugby.
We did see these two sides play each other in the early exchanges in the group stage. In fact, this is the third time I've seen them play this year, and on the first two occasions the grammar school won so comfortably it was almost a non-contest. It's a much more even battle today.
Yeah, and they knew they had it in them. They were quite confident meeting Sligo Grammar. I looked at some of your interviews, and they were quite happy to meet Sligo in the final.
Absolutely, a bit of a kick-a-thon here, as this time it's the try scorer in the first half, or actually not quite, Danny Reid that was, who sends it down another maybe fourth or fifth kick in succession. This one does eventually make touch.
Yeah, a fine relieving kick brings play within 5 of the 10-metre line.
Yeah, and it will indeed be Marist with possession.
Grammar are so lucky that Earl could come on after that bit of blood injury to the head. He's had a super 50 minutes.
Yeah, so we're just 12 minutes into this second half so far, just over 20 remaining, but it's been nip and tuck from both sides the whole way through this contest.
Yeah, like it's still a tight scoreline. Grammar would have hoped to have a bit more distance between them and Marist, but Marist have performed admirably all first half. Excellent.
Well won by the grammar school, and that's broken down to McGinty, who kicks it in. It's going to find a nice little spot, and it's going to bounce awkwardly, but well recovered there by Tom Burke. Good handoff from him. Gets it through the first tackle and surrounded by bodies on the far side, but it's going to be Charlie O'Carroll now with the ball at the base of the ruck. Finds a teammate inside. I think that's Conor Sheehan, and he powers through. O'Carroll again back to Clark. Clark sends it to this side of the field. It's going to bounce awkwardly. It's going to bounce in front of Conor Craven and Alex Harte. Gathered by Craven, and he makes a couple of yards into the first tackle. Gets taken down in the second one, but it's going to be Grammar School to defend this. They're just outside their own 22. Ball comes back here, and almost looked like he was going to put boot to ball, but no, and it's going to be the number
well carried by
7. Dylan McGlode has got the ball back on the Grammar side, and that's great work by Aaron Pratt. And Aaron Platt has made good yardage down there, and unfortunately just a bit of a loose pass there from Jim, unfortunately not for the Grammar side. I think it was a loose pass there from Jared Mert that missed one, but recovered quickly on the far side
by George Barlow, yeah.
But he just couldn't stay in touch, and
he just hadn't the room, but he was away if he had.
It's going to be put in to the line out on the far side for the challenging side, Marist. They come into this as big underdogs, having lost twice this year. Grammar come in as hot favourites.
Yeah, but I never thought they were big underdogs. I was very impressed with them, that group match that Grammar played. They missed a couple of kickable kicks that would have brought the scoreline very, very close.
But again, another player down, just looking for a bit of attention, and he just looks to be in a bit of bother and stretching the legs. I don't think it's quite cramp, but maybe it is cramp. But just taking a moment.
It's Tom Burke again, is it?
I think so. It looks to be a bit of cramp, but nobody, no one from the sideline coming on to help him.
I did notice in the group stage that the Marist lads did go down with cramp quite early on in the match.
Well, from what we've seen so far in this game and this season is that
he's going to have to go off. He's limping badly there.
If the Marist do start to cramp up, we could see a situation where grammar school quality and maybe just that strength and depth as well could prove to be, for the last 10 or 15 minutes, a big challenge here.
Yeah, no, he's going out. I think it's a bit more than cramped there.
I haven't quite seen if he's made his way off. He's still. I can't actually hear from the other side what the chant is, but obviously you're picking it up here. I can't make it out, but I'm sure it's not the most complimentary thing in the world. Great line out from Marist, and good. That's good set piece from them, and they've broken in nicely in there. I think that's Niall Talon. Takes into contact back to O'Carroll, and there's a nicely worked set piece there, but it hasn't quite come off for Marist. But they do have the possession again, and they've got bodies outside there and well held and well offloaded in the tackle. But the grammar school have 3 or 4 men to the ball every time a yellow and blue jersey has possession.
Yeah, the defence has been impressive. They've obviously talked about the defensive line during half time. It's been much more decisive. Well ripped by Ambrose Bamber.
Bamber's done very, very well there to get that ball out. But that's a big hit there from Niall Talon, and he's brought play right down. Actually, it might have been Paddy Egan has taken that tackle, and he's made another one there. Great piece of work by the flanker from Marist. In fact, it was Luca Giles, the captain, who pulled off those 2 tackles.
Yeah, that tackle probably deserved a little bit more, but Grammer have held on to the ball and secured possession.
Yeah, so it's Grammer now. Earl Norris on the far side into Murtha. Murtha with quick hands to Craven. Craven outside. Good hands on the far side from George Barlow. He kicks it ahead. He's chasing the ball. Where will it go? It's going to bounce in front of a couple of players, but a great recovery there from Danny Reid at full back for the Marist as they regroup again, and O'Carroll clears the danger. That's a fantastic kick from O'Carroll. He's brought that right up to almost to the 10-metre line. Yeah, it's a great move from him, and under pressure, and now we see another player go down with a bit of cramp. Maybe Danny Reid looks to be struggling. That was a very important interception from him when that ball came through, because he was under pressure from a couple of Grammar players coming through.
Yeah, Charlie O'Carroll has been very impressive today. Probably had an off day when we saw him in Marist.
I think that might be Ambrose Bamber as well. Is down just or Aaron Platt maybe.
Yeah.
Just getting.
You don't see Aaron go down with cramp.
No, I think it might be a bit more than cramp, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does in terms of a substitute on the bench. If Aaron doesn't continue a prop, who would the grammar school be looking to get into the frame?
It's hard to know. I'd say there'll probably be Isaac Morrison might come on, and there might be a shuffle around in the pack. But hopefully Aaron will get up.
So,
although it's a long time since I saw Aaron go down.
Yeah, I make it around 18 minutes gone in the second half here, so about the same left. But there is a substitution on and it is that what we expected on the other side from Marist. Well, and it is indeed Tom Burke who makes way. We've seen him down 3 or 4 times now, but it's number 22, and that's Aina MacDonald who enters the action for the Marist. And we've seen Tom Burke. He's been impressive throughout, but 2 or 3 injuries, and he's really probably played
he's given it all, like he's put it all out there.
Good catch by Dylan McGloat there in the line out.
That young lad came on in the other match in Athlone, and he had a fine performance, so won't weaken the side any bit.
Looks to be Kilcoyne in at scrum half as well. A loose pass again from Murtha, just gone behind Alex Harte, but he recovers it well and keeps possession alive for the grammar school here. That's great work from Max Hunter. The pass from Kilcoyne finds Hunter, and he goes straight into the attack. Hand in there from the number 6 from Marist, Paddy Egan. We saw a lot of that from the English at the weekend, unpunished by the referee, unpunished here again as that ball goes outside. Great hands. Murtha's dropped it though.
No, they dropped it back. No.
I'm not sure he did, but referee would tend to disagree with you, and it's going to be a put in the scrum about 4 or 5 metres shy of the halfway line, and the Marist will be quite happy to have a chance to rebuild here. They need a score, and they need it kind of quickly, don't they?
The game has broken up a little bit in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Knock-ons by both sides. I suppose they're probably the nerves starting to creep in.
Absolutely, and some changes on the grammar side as well. I think as they start to maybe tire a little bit. I know it's actually, I thought it was 18. It's actually still Conor Craven on the far side. I recognise the championship haircut, or the cup final haircut. It might be in this sport. Working well on the far side from Marist, and they've made good ground into the halfway. It's a high tackle from Craven, and the ref has agreed, and it's going to be a penalty.
Grammer's defensive line wasn't up quick there. And it's resulted in a high tackle by Conor Craven.
And a word from the referee, but no cards issued on this occasion. It's going to be an opportunity here for Marist to clear their lines, and that's not O'Carroll kicking that. I think it's number 12, Tom Sheehan, puts a left foot to it and hits the touch right outside the 22. That's a good
different
touch.
Man, same result. That was a fine kick. Bring play right into the Grammar 22, and they'll have the attacking line out.
Yeah, so a nice platform here for the Marist to attack. They've had some really impressive outings from set pieces in the game so far. We've seen them impress both in the line out and at scrum time. And this time it's Owen Naughton again with the opportunity to try and find one of his teammates. We've seen good work here from Giles and Conor Sheehan. Who's he going to hit this time? Giles in the centre. And that's good work by them, and they've won it well, and they've got a bit of a break here. Bobby Fox in possession, and he gets through, but it's going to come back to O'Carroll at the base. O'Carroll outside him, he's got bodies there, but Grammar have done well to slow that right down and keep the ball in outside the 22, but now it's going to be them, and Jared Murphy gets the ball across, gets his body in and steals that, I think, and has done really, really well for the Grammar School to turn that over, and that could be an opportunity maybe to put an extra bit of mileage between them, the two teams here, because
and a fine relieving kick by Earl brings play right up into the 10 metre
needed
line
a score there, and now from an attacking position inside the 22 with momentum, they're now back on the 10 metre line, and it's going to be a challenge to get back in again for Marist.
Yeah, it looked ominous there for a minute, but well turned over by Sligo's back row.
Of course, the score here with about 15 minutes left on the clock, just under maybe, 16 points to 7 in favour of the Grammar School, a 9-point lead, a 2-score lead for the defending champions. Of course, going for 3 in a row here, which it's a tough achievement in any level, in any competition, in any sport, but particularly in schools rugby, and that ball has gone crooked, but it's the advantage of the Grammar School, so the Marist put in won't be penalised, and it's back to Kilcoyne. Kilcoyne finds Jim O'Connell outside him, one of the top try scorers in the competition so far. Hasn't got on the score sheet today. How much would he enjoy a try today? It will bring him to 5 tries, I believe, in 4 games, which will be an impressive haul.
Darren McGinty has gone off, I think.
Gareth McGinty, yeah.
He's
left us, yeah, but he's been replaced by Kilcoyne. Jacob Kilcoyne at scrum half. A couple of changes so far for the Grammar School. Max Hunter, as we mentioned, on at the break to replace Paddy Wright, and Kilcoyne on to replace Gareth McGinty in the defending champion side. On the other side, Aina McDonnell has come on to the side to replace the injured Tom Burke, who had just picked up a litany of kind of minor niggles and just ended up being forced off the field, really.
Oh, but he's put his body on the line.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, he went down and got up a number of times.
Absolutely, and now we have...
it's a great scrum.
Grammar have pushed the 1.5 metres they're allowed and told to stop by the referee, but that's good. A really, really well-timed offload, but that's a superb tackle. He's pushed him back himself. I'm not quite sure who made that tackle for the Grammar, but he picked him up and just drove him back 4 or 5 yards, and the momentum that kind of a play gives you.
They still didn't get the ball. Marist still have the ball.
Just approaching 20 on halfway line on the far side. Good work straight into Ambrose Bamber and Jack Deegan, and neither of them were for turning. O'Carroll now with a kick blocked down, recovered by Marist again. They've done quite well to keep hold of the ball in the last couple of minutes, because the Grammar have put them under serious pressure.
Another penalty.
And the pressure has told that it's going to be a penalty just inside the halfway line. It's going to be Jacob Kilcoyne with the ball in hand, but I think he's been told by someone just cool it a bit.
He's going to have a pop here, is he?
It's a long way out.
A long way.
Yeah, but 3-4 metres, and Earl looks to be more kicking for the corner, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has that range. Just a slight wind against him.
Nice, now ball in hand just inside the half, and he's aiming for the corner, and that's where Marist have put their bodies, and that has comfortably gone across. Yeah, absolutely.
Good kick. Brings play into their 22.
Hits the Greyhound track on the far side.
Excellent kick by Earl.
And we are back inside the Marist 22 for the first time in what feels like a long time.
Marist have played themselves into that. A couple of loose passes, and I think they were holding on the ground.
So the Grammar School put in and Quentin Moiety on the following far side. And that's good work there by number 4 Matthew Ryan to get that ball and a good layoff, but it's going to be Marist who are under pressure now with Grammar School pushing forward, and they've collapsed that maul, and it's going to be Kilcoyne, but the ref has blown the whistle. And
they went in, they didn't hit the deck, and Marist have possession and will have to put into the scrum.
So it's a good defensive operation there from Marist as we approach 25 minutes in the second half. 10 minutes left on the clock, plus whatever the referee has allowed for stoppages. So maybe a dozen minutes or so. Even though we've had a few injuries, they haven't really stopped play as we've gone through.
No, and the ref probably has to keep. There's a third match to be played today, so I don't think the IRFU or the Connacht branch wanted to overrun too long.
Of course, there is an hour to that game, so we're not overly going to go into the second half. I think there is extra time if required today, but I don't think that's going to be an issue with 9 points on the clock. I think it's going to be a win one way or the other, but which side will it be? At the moment, it's the Grammar School on the scoreboard, although they probably have it against the run of play on the basis of the 60 minutes or so that have been played so far. Well done there by Alex Harte. Catches the ball in, and it's going to be taken to ground, and again, well recovered, but just not enough bodies, and that seemed a little bit harsh on
in from the side. But yeah, harsh.
The ball I felt was there to be won, but the referee is the man who makes that decision.
Yeah, he didn't go behind the hind foot.
And it's going to be Norris again with that kick. He's had a really, really good accuracy from this level.
Yeah, and it's the right. This is the side you want for right-handers for a backline move.
So kicking for the corner. He has put it nicely in, but I think that's gone. He's pulled what's his name on that? Billy Burns on that, and it's not gone into touch, and it's going to come back to
a great take.
Alex Harte. Harte now with bodies outside him. He's got Murtagh to his left and finds him. He's got bodies outside him again, but he gets away from the first tackle. Brought down by the second, almost. Still gets away. It takes 3 or 4 to bring him down. He really is.
Murtagh needs 2-3 guys to bring him down.
He is a class
very,
act.
very, very strong.
Norris with the kick, but a bit wild, and it's bounced really well for the Grammar School, but it's going to be knocked on there by the Grammar. I think the ref has seen it. I think the first touch did come off a hand, and maybe even off the hand of Max Hunter.
I think Max was unfortunate. I think the Marist player played the man rather than the ball.
I think the knock-on was before that. So the kick came after the knock-on, but the ref has seen what I saw, and it looks to be a player down, and that could be one of the back three. I think it might be Conor Dowling getting attention now, and another player down for cramp in the yellow and blue jersey. And we've seen that a couple of times this season, particularly in the last group game when we covered that match together, Jonathan. Marist just struggling with cramp towards the end of the game.
I'll tell you where that's coming from. That's coming from the pressure in the scrum. The Grammar pack has been so strong. They're feeling it out there, the forwards for Marist. And they put in a fine performance, but they're being pushed to their limits now.
Well, we're back with the cool jazz coming out of the far side here in the Clan shed, and I think the Clan terrace moving there in a nice kind of blue and white mirage as the kind of crowd getting into it. You might be able to pick it up here on the broadcast, but 9 points up with about 9 minutes left on the clock. I make it probably a little bit less even, but it's a couple of players getting attention here for Marist. They're 9 points up. Their opponents walking wounded in some places.
Yeah, but they have to put in on their own 22. What time are we making it now?
I make it 29 minutes gone in the second half, so
yeah,
6 plus whatever.
Yeah, they'd be hoping maybe to work their way down the pitch now. Maybe could do with a score. They don't want the time to start running short.
Yeah, it was in fact Danny Reid who was getting the attention there. Himself and Conor Dowling look quite similar. The blonde locks, no fades there in that instance. Not quite at the mullet stage yet either, though, so maybe there are in-betweens for today.
It's a work in progress, Breifne, a work in progress.
Apologies for the cough. And it's going to be a put in here for Charlie O'Carroll. He's had an impressive championship so far, top scorer in the competition, but hasn't quite been able to get his team to the top of the scoreboard today. But there is still half a dozen minutes or so left. Did look a little forward, but referee not interested. Ball presented back to O'Carroll, and that's it looked like a knock on maybe, but great hands off the ground as well, as we now see bodies on the wing, and that's great work there, and he can't quite get away. Oh, that's excellent. Well done to keep in from Holmes.
Excellent tackle by Dara Holmes and finished off by Conor Craven. Well done.
It looked like Aidan MacDonald was just going to get round him there, but Holmes just got the hands out and pulled him down, and the resulting player into touch then straight afterwards.
Dara's been busy on the defensive side. He probably hasn't got the ball out this right hand side for he's no attacking opportunity, but he's defended really, really well.
There's been very, very slim pickings for the attacking opportunities for the grammar school. They've kind of scored most of their scores. The one try they've got kind of came from an individual bit of brilliance from George Barlow. Good work there, and it's going to be Kilcoyne, and that's great work into Hunter. Hunter gets a yard of space, but then smothered by fantastic by Kilcoyne, and he's through. A lovely little opportunity from him at the back of the ruck. The defence just parted. Kilcoyne saw the gap. It wasn't very big, but it just opened for him just enough, and that little yard of space, and he was never going to be stopped once he got through that gap.
Absolutely well spotted by young Kilcoyne, Jacob. Very, very individual try, so that the gap opened and kept opening, and that's a much needed score by Sligo. That will settle all nerves now.
Yeah, Jack Deegan has been replaced as well on the grammar school side. Replacement there for him. It looks to be Francis Ellison who has come in to the grammar school side. We've seen plenty of him in the competition so far as well.
He's not going to lessen that pack. Francis has every time he's been given an opportunity, he's been very, very impressive. But the scoreline is just starting to stretch Breifne in Sligo's favour.
21-7 on the scoreboard with the conversion to come. We've seen some impressive kicking today from the out half Earl Norris, and a bit of silence. I think the Marist have learnt their lesson from the last time, and there's no noise coming from them.
Yeah, I think they're getting a bit deflated. The scoreline is just starting to stretch out, not in their favour.
Yeah, and I shouldn't be slagging the players for getting cramp. I've just got pins and needles in my own foot here, standing on the greyhound side.
That's from your jazz moves with the music.
I've been doing my shuffle. I don't even know what dance move goes with jazz this weather, but it's better than the Declan Nerney coming from the other side of the equation. Norris there, it's going to curl. It's going to curl enough. It is. That's a fabulous point. And we've seen that from the two. We've seen that from the two out halves today, or at least the two kickers. Fantastic score from Earl Norris, 23 points to 7. But we saw that the last kick of the first half, Charlie O'Carroll from a similar position and the same kind of bend, where it looked like it was going to go, but just snuck inside the post. And that's a fabulous kick. Just took it in the last minute.
That's bringing play to 16 points of a difference. That's a lot of points to claw back against Sligo Grammar.
Definitely an offside there, as the player that actually did it. That's an
elementary mistake by Marist.
But as well as that, after the ball did come in, Max Hunter and the player who's now on the ground, I can't quite make out who it is, did collide, and he landed quite awkwardly on his back. And again, Susie Brazawa, she's been a very, very busy character in today's game. She's been on the field probably as much as some of the players. But a really, really awkward fall there. He kind of seemed to go over the back of Max Hunter. Nothing malice, just the collision.
The scoreline doesn't really tell the full story.
Absolutely not. No, I think Marist have been much better than the scoreline would suggest.
Yeah,
but we saw this in the group stages as well.
Yeah. Grammar are clinical. They just finish things off. Any chance they seem to get over the whitewash.
Yeah, it was Niall Talon, in fact, who got that little bit of a bang. As we see a change on the far side, Conor Sheehan has been replaced.
Max, like his father Stanley, is built like a rock.
I think Vinnie Mayer is the player who has come in there to replace number 4, Conor Sheehan. We'll try and keep an eye on the squad, on the numbers going through, but I think it's number 21, Vinnie Mayer, has come in the second row, and going to have to deal with this scrum straight away. The Grammar have pushed, that's the 1.5 meters, that's good, and McGinty with a space. That final break he had a minute ago already consigned to the memory books as George Barlow in possession now, and it's great piece of work here. In fact, it's Dara Holmes, a great tackle by the full-back Danny Reid, has taken Holmes down, but great burst from him, and that's another poor pass, but maybe inflicted by a hand from Marist, just crossing in as the scrum half goes out, and that's a good piece of work here from the Grammar School as they approach the line again. They're right within 2 meters of the line, held up here by the Marist, and it's going to come back. Max Hunter's in the middle of that, looking to get the ball back out here to Norris. Norris kicks long. There's plenty of space out here. Can they catch it? It's over to Barlow. Barlow catches it. Can he keep it in touch? He does. Inside to Jared Murtha. He deserves a try. It's going to be the captain. Conor Craven just quite make it, just short of the line. and it's going to be there for McGinty to break, and it's going to be over, I think, this time for the grammar school. Not quite great defensive work by the Marist College as they look to keep them out. This will be the 4th try of the game, probably an unfair reflection of the game so far, but have been held up, and that's great defensive work by the Marist. And
the Marist, I think they were lucky. I think if there was another score, that'd be really game over, Breifne.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be
back for a penalty.
Oh, there was a penalty advantage
5 metre
there.
Penalty advantage, yes.
And I can see at this stage of the game,
probably a little set piece here, tap and go, 5 metres from the Marist line.
I make it 36 minutes on the clock, so we're up, but just at the discretion of the referee now. 16 points in it, 3 scores needed to convert, to change the outcome of the game, and I think the grammar school will just go for it, and that looks to be a decent push. A referee not happy yet, has given the try.
Hand is up, grammar over again.
I didn't quite make who scored that, but I think it might be the player with the ball in hand, and he looks happy. I think it's Aaron Platt. And well deserved. He's had a fine performance today for the grammar school. I feel a little bit sorry. I know we're both grammar alumni, but I do feel a little bit sorry for the Marist. This score does not reflect the game. 28-7.
Well, definitely the first half display by Marist. I think second half grammar have been more dominant. And as I said, when Max comes on, he just they change a gear. The grammar pack, they just seem to change a gear when Max Hunter comes on the pitch. Yeah,
just to confirm, change for the grammar school, as it's almost immaterial at this stage, but it won't be for Milo Holmes, who makes his introduction in the Senior Cup final. He replaces his namesake Dara Holmes on the wing for the last couple of minutes of this game. But an opportunity here for Earl Norris to tag on 2 more. Probably his last. Is this he's a Leaving Cert student? Possibly his last opportunity in a grammar. In a grammar jersey. He won't be disappointed. They're going to win this game. We're on the blow almost. Last couple of minutes of the game. They've got 21 points to spare. Win, lose or draw, hit or miss. He's going to be a double Senior Cup winner. It's a huge achievement for anybody at this level.
Well, there's no Sligo grammar school team have done it before.
So this is for history, and that's not quite going to bend quite enough. Not like the last one. He doesn't look too happy. The crowd seem to think it's gone over. Maybe they're just cheering the result, and the final whistle has come in. The grammar school are the Senior Cup champions for 2023. Their crowd go into raptures. They'll be very, very happy with this. They've really upped the bar in the last couple of years. 3 Senior Cups in a row. It does take a little something a bit special to keep that momentum going.
And at this opportunity, I want to just thank the 2 Jimmys, Jimmy Gammett and Jimmy Staunton, for all the work they've put in. I'm only one of many proud fathers here and mothers here today, and proud ex-past students and ex-players of Sligo Grammar School. All the work they've put in, Jimmy Gavin especially, and the health and fitness, Sean, and the health and fitness, they've just been exceptional.
Yeah.
And you get no thanks for it.
I have to say, from a personal point of view, we've been very involved in this competition this year and covering it, and really and truly, the effort put in by the mentors across the province, particularly at the A level, is just a ridiculous amount of effort. You mentioned the 2 Jimmys. There's plenty more on the Sligo Grammar side, on the Marist side today, and they really do deserve huge credit.
Huge credit.
Mick Loftus and the team he has around him, they've beaten the odds to get here a little bit. They wouldn't have been fancy to be in the final at the start of the competition.
Yeah, I'd say Summerhill are, they would have thought they would have been here. They were just shaded Marist, but it was 50-50, and it just showed they only lost by 1 point.
28-7 the final score here as the sax rings out for the last time this year in the sports grounds, I'd imagine. I can't see it from back here for Connacht games, but it's been a really good atmosphere, a cracking game, definitely not reflective of the scoreline, much more even, apart from maybe the last 5 or 10 minutes when those 2 or 3 tries went in.
I think grammar opened up, and I think just maybe the Marist heads went down, or fatigue had a little bit to play in it. But it probably looked one-sided maybe for the last 10-15 minutes, but it was nip and tuck up to that.
Yeah.
And just grammar clinical finishing just kept the scoreboard ticking over.
Just to recap the tries this afternoon, 3 tries on the grammar side, 1 for the Marist. The Marist try coming from a fine run by Conor Dowling. Fine run by Conor Dowling just on the stroke of half-time, and that had almost cancelled out the earlier run from George Barlow from halfway to touchdown. My memory is a bit foggy at the moment. I can't quite remember who got the second, but the third, it was a lovely break by Jacob Kilcoyne, the substitute scrum half. Just find that yard of space. burst through it, and really there was no stopping him. And then at the very, very end, that man Aaron Platt, he's been such a key figure in this pack going forward all year.
Yeah, and
he's deserved that, really.
Yeah, and like he's one of the two Irish internationals that we have been honoured to have this year. And Aaron had thoroughly deserved his cap, as did Ambrose Bamber.
Well, there's a big moment here as the grammar school go over to their fans, and there's going to be a big welcome back for them, for their heroes. 2 in a row, 3 in a row. It's really, really impressive.
Well, I might be near my 50s, but they are my heroes as well. Like, I'm so proud as a dad, as a past pupil, as a past player. You know, they're a great team. Like, I've seen them progress from underage, junior, and now to senior level, and they've only really been beaten once in all that time, in junior, in under 14. You know, and they've been so impressive.
Just as the grammar school make their way over to supporters, it must be noted that 2 of them actually were in having a little word with the Marist lads, and I think that's kind of an example of the quality of the lads that are part of that team as well.
And they have to have utmost respect for Marist because they put in a fine performance. I don't think 7 points was justice for the performance they've put in.
I think if you were told they'd lost by 7, you'd have accepted that as probably a fair reflection on the results. Anyway, that is it for us. We've had a ball reporting on this competition all year. Every game in the competition so far this year, we've had a fun. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us on co-coms for this. To yourself, Jonathan, for the games you've done with me. I think we had 4 outings in total. I 4 with Ken O'Neill as well, and it's been a nice way to kind of bring this to people's homes and offices. We couldn't make games today.
Yeah, and Breifne, if I could just butt in there, I just want to thank you personally, and thank you from our school and from all the schools rugby supporters. You have really done justice to the Connacht schools rugby here. You have reported brilliantly. You know, you've kept the imagination going and increased the excitement for all the upcoming games, and now the final. You know, and just thank you. You're promoting the Connacht schools rugby, and well done to you.
Appreciate that. Listen, Jonathan, we'll leave it there. People are sick of listening to us for the last couple of weeks. Thanks so much for all your support over the last couple of months, and to everyone who's joined us on the broadcasts, the hundreds of you who have joined us on games over the last couple of weeks and months. We will be back next year, hopefully, all things going well, with similar coverage or even extended coverage if we can at all do that. Thanks to everyone, and best of luck, and congratulations to everyone who won cups today. Of course, one more still to come later in the day at Athlone Community College. They play the Bish in the B final. We won't have coverage of that on FinalWhistle.ie. Our coverage ends with this Senior A Cup final. So thank you so much to everyone, and we will be back with you again next season.